You know, when we hear AI, our minds usually jump to some big sci-fi movie, right? But the thing is, it's already here. It's working quietly in the most personal parts of our lives. So in this explainer, we're going to dig into how it's becoming our coach, our teacher, and potentially, well, something a whole lot more complex. So let's just start with a really provocative question. What if your next doctor, your teacher, or even your personal trainer wasn't a person at all? Now, I know that sounds like it's straight out of a movie, but the reality is way, way closer than you might think. Let's get into it.
At the absolute heart of this whole shift is one incredibly powerful idea: the AI personalization promise. It's this vision of a future where our digital lives are no longer generic, but are perfectly, and I mean perfectly, tailored to who we are.
Yeah, the era of one-size-fits-all is officially on its way out. You can think of AI as this ultimate customizer. It learns your unique preferences, your strengths, your weaknesses, and it creates experiences that are just so much more effective because they're built just for you.
Okay, so that all sounds great in theory, but what does it actually look like in the real world? Let's zoom in on two of the biggest areas being totally transformed right now: how we learn and how we manage our health.
I want you to think back to school for a second. In a typical classroom, right, everyone's kind of expected to learn at the exact same pace. But AI just completely changes the game. It can pinpoint exactly where a student is struggling or, where they're excelling, and then it builds a custom learning path just for them.
The tech that makes this happen is called an adaptive learning system. And honestly, it's way less like a textbook and a lot more like a personal tutor. It's not just dumping information on you. It's constantly checking your understanding and tweaking the difficulty in real time to make sure you actually master the material.
And this exact same kind of personal tutor idea is now showing up in our health and wellness. These AI-powered apps are basically a trainer in your pocket. They're tracking your activity, your nutrition, building you custom fitness plans. Some can even use your phone's camera to give you feedback on your squat form right then and there, which is incredible for preventing injuries.
And it goes so much deeper than just fitness. AI is pushing forward a field called precision medicine. We're talking about AI sifting through millions of data points, everything from your genetic code to your daily habits, to help doctors find treatments that are tailored not just to an illness, but to your specific biology.
So all of this sounds pretty incredible, doesn't it? A perfectly optimized life. But there's a flip side. There's a hidden cost we really need to talk about. As we lean more and more on AI to do the work, what happens to our own abilities? And this isn't just some hypothetical worry. Research is already starting to show a pretty troubling link, a negative correlation between using AI a lot and our ability to think critically. Basically, the more we rely on AI for the answers, the less we might be exercising our own minds.
There's a psychological term for this phenomenon. It's called cognitive offloading. And think about it, you do it all the time. You don't memorize phone numbers anymore, right? They're just in your phone. Well, AI is like that, but on a massive scale. And by outsourcing our thinking, we run the risk of letting those mental muscles get weak.
Okay, so we've got the risk to our own thinking skills, but there's an even bigger, more immediate hurdle: us, people. You can have the most brilliant AI in the world, but it's totally useless if people don't trust it or understand it or even want to use it.
This chart here really breaks down why employees tend to resist AI. And the number one reason, at a huge 35%, probably isn't what you think. It's simply a lack of awareness, not knowing why a change is even happening. That's a bigger deal than fear of the unknown, or even worrying about your job.
And here is a fascinating twist in the data. It's not the frontline employees who are the most resistant, it's their bosses. That's right, mid-level managers. They're often the most skeptical because they're caught right in the middle, trying to implement a strategy from above while dealing with all the concerns from their team below.
And beyond just human resistance, there are other major hurdles. How do we pay for the massive cost of implementing this stuff? How do we protect our incredibly personal data from privacy risks? And critically, how do we stop our own human biases from being accidentally coded right into the AI systems that are making decisions about our lives?
So we have this amazing promise of personalization on one side, and then all these serious cognitive and practical risks on the other. So where do we go from here? Well, the solution seems to boil down to how we choose to think about AI's role in our lives. So it all comes down to this choice. We can have a replacement mindset, where we just passively accept whatever the AI spits out and let it do the thinking for us. Or we can choose an augmentation mindset, where we use AI as a powerful tool,
a co-pilot to help us think better and make smarter decisions.
So how do we actually put that into practice? Well, this lays out a pretty clear path. First, we have to actively evaluate what the AI gives us. Don't just accept it, question its logic. Second, we have to verify its suggestions. Use the AI as a starting point for your own thinking, not the final answer. And finally, and this is the big one, we have to reflect, making sure that a human, you, is always the one making the final considered call.
At the end of the day, this is all about flipping the script. Technology by itself doesn't make things successful. People do. The goal is to create a people-first strategy where AI serves us, where it augments our skills and empowers us all to be better thinkers, creators, and professionals.
So AI is here, and it is not going away. The power and the responsibility is now in our hands. The real question isn't whether we'll use AI, but how. Will you let it think for you, or will you use it to help you think better?